And welcome back on Insomnia Gaming. It's about that time for our final here of this second inter-community Fortnite tournament. I am Labosco. Alongside of me is the one and only PkmnPanda. Panda Fask versus and Chamothy versus Sloth, and of course Alouette, who you have been talking up so far. This one's looking really good. Slothy played so well that last game that got them to this final. They've been sitting here waiting a little bit. Now they finally get to see who they're facing. This should be a good one.
It's going to be a banger, that's for sure. We know Chamothy, we know Fast. They are stylistic players. We saw at the end of their game as well during the break. Big style points coming through from Fast, but we also know that Alette and Slothy are fantastic players within their own self. Sure, I've been talking about them a lot, but they do the talking with their actions as far as using yeet pads and going around getting shots off with snipers where you didn't really think was all self-included. I'm excited to watch this one.
Should be super exciting to see. We saw Fask and Chamothy. They kind of played out there a little bit at the end after they won, and we saw some fun plays from Fask. And this is one that I'm looking really forward to. Both these teams know how to build. They know what they want to do strategically. We're going to see at least one game between them, potentially two games. And by one game, I mean two maps. So two maps we get to see here in this final game regardless. What are the expectations that we should have? Or do you think these teams are going to go in hot and heavy in map number one, or are they going to play outside of the hot zones and then go into them?
It seems that Chamothy and Fask like to drop out of hot zones and really work their way into the hotter ones. We saw in their previous matchup was actually a drop to Greasy, but a quick rotation to Shifty to find a multitude of kills. There was that very prevalent mound that they took a hefty mound of and just started raining all of the justice from the medium bullets down from above. But Slothy and Alette, it doesn't really seem to matter where they drop. It all seems to be relative to where the zone goes next. And that seems to be where the rotation comes through. They're very experienced in using all of the movement capabilities that have been offered since Season 4. So it's very exciting to see these two different playstyles going head-to-head as we're all in the same lobby now. I can't wait.
And I believe these two teams have faced each other before. I think they played each other last inter-community tournament. So there is a little bit of history between these two teams.
Yeah.
They know each other, so I'm sure that they're already fairly familiar with their own play styles.
Absolutely. I mean, if they've been following anywhere and throughout this tournament, they've been seeing some of these players from Insomnia as well. They know that they are very aggressive, and that's the thing about Fask and Chamothy. Will we end up seeing them play proactively, and will they end up playing reactively to the aggressive style, or will they end up being more aggressive this time around?
The one thing you know for sure that you're going to get from Alouette and Slothy, the rotations are going to be very aggressive. They are very aggressive when it comes to rotating. They're going to take we know they're going to take any of the portals that they find, use those to try and get to people, whatever they need. They kind of do, and then they're very good at using, like you said, the jump pads and things to close gaps. I don't think we really got the chance to see that from Chamothy and Fask just because, well, they pretty much won fairly quickly because, unfortunately for Lit and Juice, they went down pretty quick.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate indeed, but it's one of those unfortunate mishaps that when you try to take the aggressive fight and you pick the wrong fight to take, or maybe you just get on that unlucky RNG burst from the pellet shotgun rain, is when you end up coming down in the loser's bracket and giving up that ever proverbial rematch in between for Insomnia and for Lit and Juice. But it's Fask and Chamothy that are going to be here in the grand finals, trying to push them to the brink of destruction.
Well, it looks like we're just waiting for a couple more players to ready up. Alouette just getting back here, and maybe some bio breaks happening for both teams before we get started here, Panda. I mean, Alouette, we've seen it's either Alouette and Slothy. When one isn't slaying out, the other one's doing what's needed to support that person who's sort of on fire. They're both very streaky at times. What do you need to do if you're not having the best game to stay active and helping out your teammate and getting those eliminations?
At that point, if you're not playing to your utmost perfection, you could end up taking a step back, realizing that, no, I'm not landing my flicks. No, I'm not getting the most insane headshots with the hunting rifle. But what you can do is pick up that new fantastic submachine gun, pair that along with an assault rifle as well, or even a Tommy gun, and you can really just continuously whittle down buildings for the other teammate that might be landing the flicks, that might be landing those crazy headshots with the hunting rifle to really come up huge. And we've seen both Slothy and Alette in the games that we've casted today, Labasco, do just that.
Well, we're finally loading into the map here. We got a drop here to Panda. When we look at it, that looks like it's going to go right over Tilted Towers. So Tilted is definitely one that we can definitely go to. And we know that Slothy's a guy who, depending on where he goes, I mean, he can just contribute as much as we've seen as anybody else. I mean, I think he had 14 in their win to go to the finals. I mean, that's a huge number to be putting up in just one map.
Absolutely. I mean, like, I can't fathom, I honestly can't accentuate enough, like, how crazy it is to almost wipe a quarter of a server if there was a full 100 people in there. And you got to be holding on to that momentum going forward. You got to keep your chin up high, because as you can see, it's already fast. They're going to be taking a drop very early on. It looks like they're actually hugging towards Risky Reels.
Yeah, that looks to be the way that they're going. Him and Chamathy both making their way to Risky, and they are going to have some players going there as well. Like they're going to have Slothy and Alouette go right back to somewhere we've seen them go quite a few times already, and they're going to go to Fatal Fields.
Yeah, Fatal Field seems to be their favorite landing. I mean, when you know the chest spawns and you know where you can find a guaranteed weapon at times, it becomes a little bit easier for those that end up dropping in that don't. So that way you can just punish them continuously. And if you notice that you don't find a weapon from the over top of the broken buildings, you could just go ahead and hug either to that long stable barn or go and do immediate what Slothy's doing and just land immediately on the front door of this house. And this house is completely empty, picking up the akimbos and the mini pots as well, starting off so well.
Yeah, those dualies can be very good, especially early game. And we look on the other side right now, Fask and Chamathy looting the house side of Risky Reels. They'll probably make their way into Risky afterwards. And it looks like they've already found some shields as well for both of them. So that's a massive thing early game as well. If you can get to at least 50 shield, that's a huge advantage.
Absolutely. I mean, the quickest you can get to 200 HP, the harder it's going to be, especially in the early game, for anybody to kind of, you know, obviously whittle you down unless they get a fantastic first chest of either a rocket launcher, heavy shotgun, or one of those devastating purple items.
The one tough thing here for the side of Alouette and Slothy, though, they're going to have to rotate pretty far is the one thing, Panda. Now, it's a little bit easier because of the recent changes, but it's still something that they're going to have to pay attention to, and they're going to have to do quickly.
Absolutely, and you can see just that. Players, all four of them, no hesitation, rotating immediately. Fask already going over to Risky Reels. Chamathy shortly behind him. He's already got his eyes on one side who's building up in the brick, but he doesn't have all the landing. He's already on white health, and this green burst is Fask's best friend landing the shots.
And he downs somebody as well. So with the burst, he's going to push the issue now. There is a player right there building around. He's going to pull out the SMG, finds another. Make it number 3 here in just a second. If he can just get the burst to land, and he's going to get 3 kills. So it's 3-0 at the start for Chamathy and Fask.
Absolutely, and that is a strong lead to go ahead in fourth. Risky Reels isn't exactly the most popular landing, but a lot of people enjoy to take that further side of the map for dropping, either to practice on their own building or, in fact, to learn the game as a whole. Punishing that fact right there for Fask landing the shots, whether it be the latter or not, coming up clutch, and those kills are going to come through cleanly as they go up and take the lead. I mean, that's devastating almost, especially when you have a whole 3-0. And, of course, having 56 more people to go through, Labasco, is no easy feat. But in a game like Fortnite, and in a game sense like this, when you have to take aggressive rotations, it can really push you into making a very unwanted mistake.
Well, the one thing here for Slothy and Alouette, they still have to push to zone. That's one of, I think, their biggest issue right now is they've got to try and get back in. They're almost to the south end of the circle right now, and they can try looking towards Salty maybe for some players. Alouette a little bit in front of Slothy right now. He might be the first one to run into somebody from Salty, as Salty is just to their west. Fask and Chamathy right now, they're continuing to farm up. They've got a nice little bit of a lead. They can maybe take a little bit more time, move towards the middle of the circle, and continue to build up those mats. We know how important mats are in this game.
Absolutely. The more mats, the merrier. And we were talking about it earlier in a previous series as well. Towards the middle game of the fight, you want to be close to your 600 mats as well. The only difference in a game like this versus a game of you playing at home for the W, these players are playing for kills. So rotation has to come first. Farming for mats is going to come almost last. The one way that they are going to get their mats is by killing as many people as possible. Good not coming through from Slothy.
Yeah, uses the SMG here, and a player that he had knocked a bit earlier, I think, finally ends up falling. So now they're on to another one who has dually pistols. Have to be a little bit careful. They can burst you down really fast. Not able to hit there with some shots with Slothy. Does get one with the silver tack. Has to try and build around to this player now who's protecting himself really well. Running away is the player. He's so low. He keeps hitting headshots, but he's not getting all that damage that he'd want. As now they're going to try and finally take this player out who's kind of just holding himself up. And finally, they're able to get in and take him out. So now there's 3 there for Slothy here, as now they've been able to even this up.
Even scores across the board. And as we can see on the side for Fast and Chamathy, we're going to end up having a nice little airtime, hang time. Going to take that nice crack of a rift. Head over to Lazy Links. And land over on the 18th green over here, see what they can find. Maybe take a putt or two. Probably not, because they just realized that it is 2-3, taking the aggressive fight. Chamathy getting very close, up in the face. A little bit away from the rest of his team, but they're fighting each other. Gets a good knock amidst all that Cloud Fiesta.
Yeah, he has Fast putting pressure from the other side with that burst rifle. Takes a hunting rifle shot and lands it as well. So they have a chance here to maybe take this lead back once again. Pushing forward right now is Chamathy. Fast as well, trying to push the issue here. Taking the high ground too is Chamathy on this fight. Looking for the player, quickly eliminates him there. Looks like there was a res coming in. So they will get another elimination here. They will go to 4. Now make that 5 potentially here if they can quickly take them out. So now they have 5. They've got that 5-3 lead. And now Slothy and Alouette, it'll be their turn to answer once again.
Their turn to go ahead and play more proactive. We saw last time Fast got 3. Slothy ended up getting another 3 as well. So it's this time with Chamathy on 2. Who's it going to be from Insomnia to get forward and get more kills? Alouette, with none thus far. Fantastic loadout of green weapons, plus the silver new SMG. A blue bolt action can be very accurate with that as well. But take a look at Chamathy and Fast using the bounce pad, getting close onto another enemy already. And we are amidst another Clown Fiesta for these two. Another knock.
Yeah, another knock coming out as well.
2 more.
That's 7-8 now that they're going to have here. Well, 7 right now, as they do have some more players to deal with here, so they can potentially make it 8. But they do have 7 as of the moment.
7 at the moment, indeed, and that is a very headway into this first set of match versus the 3 of Insomnia. And as the circle continues to whittle down, it almost seems like Alouette and Slothy, they are on this dark running simulator of just chasing kills. They are just trying to almost run straight up the gut towards the side of Chamathy and Fast, just to try to cut off any other players that are making their way up towards Lazy Links and maybe punish them on any rotation. But when you're tunnel vigiling this hard here, Labosco, it can create difficulties for you to keep your eyes open to snipe opportunities from your opponents. Maybe looking for another rift over here, but he sees an enemy in the sight. Gotta be working for the snipe.
Well, it's 7 right now to 3, as you have 5 right now for Fast, 2 for Chamathy. Slothy has 3, and Alouette has 0. So 7-3, that's not too big, especially with the fact that there's still so many players left on the map that for Slothy and Alouette to close this gap. Still rotating. It looks like maybe they're going to have to rotate to the east here soon. Is Fast and Chamathy towards Lazy Links. That's where the map is right now, but finding someone is Slothy. Gets the quick hunting rifle shot, almost hit the second one, just missed the head, as now he's going to push towards the teammate of the player here, and there was a third nearby for them to get, and there's the big shot there to get another one, as they're going to get this one close. 5 now for Slothy and 1 for Alouette.
That's going to be 6-7 in between Chamathy Fast being up by 1. So now we have ourselves a very close game. Very high octane play coming through here. Chamathy looking for a snipe. You can see all the building inside the town of Loot Lake in between those factory buildings. Very high octane for a early drop. There is a current chest challenge that if you go and land on Loot Lake and open up 7 chests, you will complete a battle star for the week. However, it might be already said and done. Might be a few more players left in there, but Alette and Slothy, they are continuing to hold on the W key. They're looking for their next rotation. They have to go actually towards Risky Reels, is where the circle is, running through Tomato Town, and the side outside of Retail Row might end up finding another squad, if not 2.
And that's the one good thing for them. Chamothy and Fask were thinking about what you were thinking, Panda, and that's why they rotated to Loot Lake from where they were. But now they have to make a pretty far rotation back to pretty much where they came. So the one thing that they know is that there's more than likely nobody on the north side of the map because they kind of wiped that out. But the south end here towards Tomato Town, that's where there's still potentially people. That's where Slothy and Elouette are making their rotation. So a smart rotation here. But a fight starting out, there was some people left in Loot Lake. So that it looks like it's going to pay off here for Chamothy and Fask as they send out some burst shots. This Fask onto some players. Chamothy trying to get some headshots with that sniper rifle and just quickly just using that quick one tap and then allowing the bloom to settle before sending another shot as Chamothy.
Very smart indeed. And that's that small little micro steps that you need to do, especially when you're in that long fight of a battle. You need to make sure that you're landing those shots, especially when you have that golden bolt. It can be very devastating, but no good clear follow-up coming through and outside of that purple scar. So a rotation's going to have to come through, but Chamothy turns back around and he sees he's being pushed immediately.
Starts shooting at that player who's coming towards him, got him down to white health, is extremely close to taking this player out. So now they'll have to continue backing up, though, here, looking towards his left, trying to get these eliminations. The circle is coming is the only thing. So they do have a pretty far rotation that they have to make. So this is where chasing kills can maybe put you in a bad situation, Panda. And there's a grenade that comes towards Chamothy as well, but he's able to get the knockdown onto the player and quickly gets the elimination. So he makes it now 8 for his side.
8 for his side, and that is so good indeed. It almost seems like we have a little bit of a 1v1v1 here. Fask versus Slothy, Chamothy versus Alette. Alette behind by 2, the entire side for Insomnia on a boogie, and they need to get and stay inside here. But another knock inside the storm. Chamothy inside the storm. He doesn't even care about taking the damage so long as he keeps getting kills. This is exactly what the team needs.
Definitely what he needs, especially because right now it's Slothy who's in a fight. Alouette coming to try and help out. Slothy had to kind of vacate the areas. There's a bunch of players on top of him, quickly went away, and now is able to deal damage from afar. They are going to get hit by the zone as well a little bit here, it looks like, too. So they will have to try and chase these eliminations as they get back in towards the zone, as they're going to have a chance maybe to get 1 or 2 here if they can quickly take these players out. Has a pretty good loadout here too, has that SMG. Sure, it's only silver, but it still does a lot of damage. Alouette pushing on one, they knock one of them here, now trying to drop onto the other here and quickly takes him out. So now you have 7, 8, 9 here on the side for Slothy and Alouette.
It's 9-9. And as we are inching our way, it
now
is
10.
Chamothy. Oh, now 10. Oh, here goes the lead. So now we can see Insomnia really holding the gas pedal. Chamothy still out in the middle of the storm without Fask, who just barely made it into the ring. Just taking a drink real quick. He does have a campfire, so they will be able to get back to full health. And that is really smart. He drops the campfire a little early before Chamothy actually makes it there. He should be able to make it back just in time, and Chamothy actually has a full med kit, so he's going to be able to fully make this healing possible, but not if you miss the bounce pad, and that is just so devastating. He's gonna have to put down a fireplace just so that way he can overproc the healing so the medkit can come through, but that is devastating. That is such a misplay, and he's gonna have to hurry up and get the fast because they need to continue to push down the gas, and they need to get these kills.
10-11 the score right now between these two. We're only in map number 1 as well. There's 6 players left. When you subtract the 4 we have alive, there's 2 kills to be chased down by both of these teams. Who will find them first is the question here, almost to the point where Fask now just needs to kind of separate from his teammate in Chamothy, so that way they can try and chase down these last 2 players, because they are behind by 1 right now.
Behind by 1. 1 more game to go ahead. So at least being down by 1 kill, losing by 2, it's a very winnable scenario going into the second game. Let's just say it's not 22 kills going into the next one. But chasing off through the storm, Chamothy was incredibly behind, having to use over and over and over again all of his healing items so often, and then missing the fall damage. They are so far behind as far as the zone's concerned, and he is still just straight running away from the circle. It's almost completely on the northeast side of the map, the most north I have ever seen it in Wailing Woods.
The one thing here to point out as well, though, it's only a 1 kill difference between these two teams right now. Doesn't really matter if you don't get these last 2 limbs. You want to try and steal them away from the other team if you can, and they're all starting to go in. You just heard the rift go off here too. Looks like Slothy has maybe has found one of them coming out of the rift. So at the very least, he knows where one of the 2 players is, and he'll be able to chase them down. Trying so hard to shoot this player out of the sky, just not getting those shots to land. Except Fask, he sees is in front of him and is going to be able to get to the player first. But Fask has to make sure he gets the elimination quickly because you have the other 2 players closing in.
Very unfortunate situation here, especially Chamothy has been running from the circle the entire time. He did end up getting that 1 kill from the circle, but he has not been with Fask thus far. He ends up getting a huge crucial elim, however, and that's going to be able to put him back up 11 to 11 now, as it is 1 more enemy left.
And that's the thing. Whoever gets this last enemy will have a 1 elimination going into this final map. 1 elimination doesn't seem like a lot, but we've seen how close these 2 teams are. And by the way, Panda, they've already slayed a fifth of the players that were in the game.
I mean, when you do quick maths like that, Lebowski, I'm going to save myself from doing that. But when you say it like that, that is just honestly, it is crazy to actually fathom how many players all 4 of our members on our screen have just run through.
Exactly. I mean, almost a quarter of the players that were in this lobby when you get to 100. That's absolutely insane. Still looking for this final player is both teams. It's really kind of a little bit of luck here, a little bit of RNG who finds the no skin hiding somewhere. Is more than likely the case, and you see the rift being taken here by Fast to try and get a little bit, but it looks like it's maybe been found here by Alouette. Alouette in the fight here with the final player, tries to get the shot on and gets the elimination, so a 1 kill lead for Slothy and Alouette going into map 2.
Good game, boys.
And that's going to be a huge final kill, especially, and they needed it. Fantastic. Going forward into this next one, it's not even that big of a headway going into the second match, but it is still a lead nevertheless, Labasco. And if you're on the side, you need to figure out how you get over this proverbial hump and come up huge. Do you drop tilted? Do you go somewhere even stronger? Do you try to get a strong lead early on? Because it seemed to be what Fask and Chamothy wanted with risky reels, but it didn't end up really working out for them.
What do you mean?
I wouldn't be surprised here, Panda, if they decide to just go to similar drops that they went to on map number 1, because they both had pretty good. It was just, I think Fask and Chamothy just went too heavy to Loot Lake. If they don't do that, they might end up being in a decent spot. Although I say that, and Chamothy ends up getting a lot of kills on the way there, but then they miss out on other rotations of players that maybe they could have taken away from Alouette and Slothy. Just want to remind everybody, too, here that this is the Insomnia Gaming Network, which is a gaming and streamer support community where content creators, streamers, esports teams, and people who enjoy gaming come together to support, play, and feel welcome in an all-inclusive, diverse, and non-toxic environment. Insomnia Gaming prides itself on its successful Scrim Nights community events and their ability to network with other communities to get maximum exposure for its members and esports teams. We've got a lot of different players and teams represented here. Insomnia Gaming, of course, Twitch Kittens, Phoenix Nation, Dare Rising, WNX Gaming, The Llama Lounge, and Empire Gaming, just to name some of the ones here. It's been so fun so far, Panda, as we're getting ready for map number 2.
Map 2, it's about to be crazy. I mean, I'm sure that you folks at home are already feeling the energy that we are oozing from ourselves, because this is just insanity that we are witnessing in front of our eyes. So much action coming across, a lot more action than you were probably used to in a game of Fortnite, but that's what happens when you have 2 teams, 4 high-octane players going head-to-head like this.
So we're getting the players to load into the game now here, and we see that the map is going over, the drop, excuse me, is going to go over the north part of the map. So sort of that south end of the map is probably going to be cut off, and not a lot of players will go there, Panda. What do you do now that you see how the map is going to be?
Honestly, again, You can see Fast and Chamothy taking their drop over to Risky Reels seems to be their fatal fields. I almost guarantee you that Slothy and Alette, they're probably going to do the same thing, if not cut themselves off and maybe get an earlier drop and go over to Salty Springs. The only deficit of having to go so far to your favorite drop is you're probably going to miss out on a couple kills. So that's exactly why you see Alette pinging up Salty Springs. It seems to be the place to be and where you want to go. A lot of good buildings to loot. But Risky Reels as an early drop, especially for Fast and Chamothy, they have the option and the open season opportunity to get so many good kills early on here in Risky Reels.
And Fask took a look over at Risky, and Risky is popping right now. So they're going to have a lot of players to try and take. You can already hear the firefight happening there too from the buildings they're at. Unfortunately for Fask right now, he only has a silenced pistol, so not a lot to go into that first fight. We'll see what he decides to do for his rotation. And you have Chamothy a little bit closer here and has a little bit more. Oh, and he got a heavy shotgun here too. So he's in a very good spot as far as his loadout. We'll see if they split up here. Maybe Chamothy will go in aggressively by himself into Risky, hunting for kills.
Hunting for kills, looking for this proverbial dub, Labasco. This is truly insanity. And like, I'm honestly just on the edge of my seat. And that is not just a play on of words. I am literally on the edge of my seat watching this game right now because I have no idea which way it's going to go. Like you said, Risky Reels, it's popping, baby. Fast. What you see, man, Chamothy, he's going to try to look for it and work for some of that cleanup. You have to go through Risky, however, to get through the point. But like you said, it's popping over here, man. Will they be popping the heads, though? That's a good opening shot by Chamothy. What's soon to follow?
Both teams are getting into fights here, and a quick, easy elimination for an AFK for Fask. So he already downs one. Now helping Chamothy try and get another player down here as both teams are finding players to try and deal with, see if anybody ends up getting an elimination. Slothy pushing onto one right now and does get the knock. So at least a knock on either side coming out. Another knock for Slothy as well. He's wrecking right now, using his only gun that he has, by the way. He only has the one, as now he'll finally get a little extra loot as the elimination does come through, and his team grows their lead by one.
Growing by one. Slothy has two. That's right. And that is just amazing. And you can see Fast now with three. What the heck, man? Just in a matter of seconds, the tides have turned. Alette hanging out in the basement of the bunker house, maybe doing the methodical planning on how to save Salty Springs a little bit for too long. They need to get out of here, and they need to find more. You see Slothy that push over to the King's Rock outside of Salty Springs. Fantastic push, getting the kills that need be, but they are still finding themselves on an even playground fight. They need to get a good rotation, probably to Dusty or to Tilted, and they need to see how many more people they can run through just to keep their strength up.
Well, with the side having 4 for Chamothy and for Fask, and there being 3 on the other side, I think we're even right now as far as the scores go. It's 14 all.
Might be 14 all included. I believe it is very hard to keep track amidst all of this. I would rather just try to save myself the trouble of doing quick maths one more time for the evening, Labasco, and save myself the embarrassment of how little I know of math. But in the end, you still see it is still even in this current match, in this state of mind. So we are all sure that this will continue to be a banger. The 4 kills for Fask, however, versus Slothy's 3, it still comes down to Chamothy and Alette. They need to go huge as far as the underkills go for their team and get the follow going.
Well, actually, there was 1 extra kill there by Slothy, so it's actually 15-14 right now. So it's back to a one elim lead for Slothy and Alouette. But with both teams making their rotations towards the circle, there's potential for both teams to continue to slay out here. This is a lobby, though, that has had a lot more than the lobby last time. Already down to 42, and we haven't even gotten to circle number 1.
It's just crazy. I mean, circle number 1. Look at half the server is literally dead, Labasco. Both teams are literally up at 15 kills apiece. We are at even Steven, literally in the middle of a match right here. 36 people left, and that is a giant circle to find all these 36 people left. But Alouette does not care. He still finds one, and then Slothy there with the cleanup. I'm sorry, no, it was Alette with the knockdown and the kill as well. So they're going to be able to sit there 15 apiece, man. 16, I believe.
16
to 15. Yep, I can do maths. That's what I was trying to avoid. That's what we were trying to avoid.
Yeah, there was another kill that came in for Fast, which got him to 4, so that's what gave them the 15 right now, because we were 12 to 11 before this, and now it looks like chasing another one here is Slothy trying to get onto this player, is just trying his best to get away, but he gets knocked down here. They'll be able to finish this, get themselves another one, and they've got another player on them, and quickly it's eliminated again. So now their lead growing here, 5 limbs in this map for Slothy.
Yeah, and that is just absolutely huge. Slothy needs to go absolutely on a rampage of destruction here. We have seen what Slothy can do when he's feeling the energy that he is right now. Look at this man's emotion going across his face. Pushes the hair back just to make sure that there's no extra sweat going in his eyes. He needs to see clearly now that the rain is gone and he's outside the storm. He needs to take this rift and probably continue on the aggressive push. Do they split here? Do they try to mirror onto Tomato Town? Because it's Chamathy that gets a knock over here on top of the gas station. He's already pressuring another one.
Yeah, has pressure on another one, and Fast right now is chasing somebody as well. Gets the knock onto one, gets the elimination here quickly as well to give them another elim. Onto the side, though, of Chamathy, he's got another one. He's able to get that elimination, as his team might be able to bring this one right back if they can quickly eliminate the players that are pushing onto them in Tomato.
So hard to find much footing inside here in Tomato, but they are definitely confident builders. That drum gun is so gnarly up close. Oh my god, Chamathy, please. They have families you need to be considering about, but you need to get this dub, my man.
So they're able to get a couple more, and back on the other side, Slothy and Alouette getting into another battle in Loot Lake, pushing on top of somebody right now is Slothy. Ends up falling, and he ends up taking too much damage because of that, as he's down now, has to get saved here eventually by Alouette. We'll see what Alouette decides to do. He builds on top of him to try and keep him, as there are some explosive here being thrown. Has to try and take out this player here. Does knock him at the very least. Now has to try and res Slothy if he can, as Fask and Chamathy, they kind of have a moment to breathe here, at least for a second, and now looks like Alouette's going to go for the res.
Smart move to go for the resurrection the second that you get the knock. Force the other member of the team you're fighting to go for the resurrection themselves instead of trying to go for the thirst and the kill as well. You need Slothy in this situation, Labasco. I'm not saying that one of these players are better than the other, but Slothy has been coming to life. He is a true madman right now, as he is just landing shots, 130 HP to his name, and a nice shot to go along with it. The Insomnia boys are going crazy. They're picking up the pace. Business is booming.
Quickly had to build around himself too with Slothy, as he was extremely low, but he was able to get to full shield at the very least. There's still somebody for them to push onto. Slothy kind of building up, trying to heal as he goes forward. It's 19-19 because Fask and Chamathy, they still had those kills from earlier, so we're even in this one. Building up, and now it's 20 with that shot there.
That shot right there is going to push them into the next brink of a lead, 21-19, 2 kills separating the Insomnia boys. That resurrection was so clutch, Labasco. We cannot stress that enough, that picking up Slothy was the key to this success, this 2-kill lead. There's only 19 people left in the server, however. 2 kills to Chamathy, while Fask is hanging out at a 6-kill banger. They are not separating, but the circle is getting a lot smaller. They are getting a lot closer to each other, however, finding this rift next to the Stonehead with the mustachio. Probably going to end up taking it and seeing where they go next.
Both of them will jump into the rift here. Definitely an important thing to take this rift, get some high ground, see above, see where you can find the next team. They need these eliminations. They're pushing towards Tilted Towers. That's where they think they may be able to find some players. Never a bad place to look into Tilted. That might have been a tree that fell as well on the screen. Wasn't sure. Actually, they're going to rotate away. They're actually pushing more towards Salty. Loot Lake, of course, where Slothy and Alouette are right now.
Yeah, and then again, the more that the circle continues to contract, the closer they're gonna have to end up being near each other, because they're not all too far away from each other. Just a mere Loot Lake separating them, and one King's Rock in between Fask and Chamathy as well. So in the build fight Chamathy he needs to be careful, a little bit away from his friend, but he also needs to win this 1v1 to come up here to the ramp. No, not the ramp. He faced through the ramp.
The player was phased through and able to quickly take him out. So now it's only Fask. Fask going to have to try and get revenge here to give his team a chance. If he gets eliminated here, it's the win for the boys from Insomnia and Alouette and Slothy. We'll see what Fask can do here. And oh, a knock just happened by Slothy with the sniper rifle, finding himself another one here. Oh, but he's getting pressured onto, and oh, going down is Fask, though. Fask ends up falling here, and it's going to be the win for Slothy and Alouette. They're going to win the second Insomnia Community Fortnite tournament, as they are out of mats right now, at least as Slothy, but it doesn't matter. They got the win that they needed.
Got the win that they needed, so now they're going to spray and pray with joy. I don't even think they noticed yet, my man, but Insomnia will win the house tournament. Looking good. Drop him in. Shoot him in the face for good luck, sir. It doesn't even matter if you win this kill, because at the end of the day, you won it all, my man. You took the tournament. You rode the strides. You rode the horse home.
Well, there's also 14 players left. They can try and just slay out to the end. Why not get that cherry on top is something that they can try and do. And we'll stay here for a little bit with them as they continue to push forward, trying to get these last few eliminations and see if they can get that victory royale.
We're going to be hanging out a lot longer. And again, the stressful fact of the matter, Labasco, did you remember that Alette actually rezzed Slothy? Slothy was literally at 30 HP and came back, and now is really running amok against the rest of the server here, and especially with Alette hanging out at so much health, it's enabling Slothy to hang out at 10 kills, 12 in total. As you can see, they realize what just happened. Get a couple dance moves going, my man. You are well deserved of that. Hanging out in the center of Loot Lake, hanging out with the golf balls, hit the basketball. Yeah, it's a
couple of shots. Yeah, of course.
But they're having a ball, man.
Yep. they're definitely having a good time with how this.
Oh yeah, I know about that.
It was so hard fought, though. I think we got to give a lot of credit to Fask and Chamathy. They made this extremely close the entire way, and then unfortunate they were a little bit separated, and that's when Chamathy fell. I mean, it seemed like they were maybe trying to go a little aggressive and just kind of spread out a little bit more than they would normally be, Panda, just to try and find some players. But Chamathy just seemed to find too many.
I see.
Especially, I mean, Fask, he looked so good, so strong across this entire series, especially in the last match and this one included. The rotation for risky reels is something that we don't really see. It's a little nudge risky per se, but it came out to pay mad dividends. To your point, Labasco, the slight separation for Chamathy. He got caught out on King's Rock. Outside of Salty Springs, the unfortunate phase through that the adversary was half through the ramp that he put down, so he had the ability to either jump through or crouch under. Smart move. Unfortunately, an unlucky situation for Chamathy to die just by that. But Slothy and Alette, they will be continue to hold the W key. 12 people left in this server, besides R2, and they're going to continue to look for more.
And Fask actually given the host over to Slothy, so, you know, always good by these guys. And what a shot from Slothy. Kind of just turns around to see that it gets hosted here after they win this tournament. I mean, there's a chance for them definitely to continue to slay out and get the victory royale at the end here. They look really good, and it's definitely a deserving win for them. I mean, I don't know if you give either. It's hard to pick a player of the game, but I think you got to go Slothy, especially for how he played here in these last few games. He definitely was a very clutch player for them. And of course, Alouette with the clutch res, and then a shot there from the shotgun from Slothy, and now just wrecking house with the drum.
He's feeling it, man. He's feeling it, Mr. Krabs. He's ready. Oh, my God. Yo, whoa, hold on there. Yeah, how the heck? But, you know, at the end of the day, what a great play coming through from Slothy. He's going to be at 40 HP. Early on, it was indeed Alette that came through clutch in that last game to push them through on this series on the road to this victory. But it was Slothy that came to life. That was insane.
Definitely is. They're just continuing to slay through. They have, let's see, 9 players left to see if they can get the victory royale on top of the championship win that they got in this tournament. I mean, it's not going to matter if they don't get it, but I mean, how bad do you think they want to get the victory royale on top of it?
Dude. I'm telling you, you and I are playing, bro.
I think my mic actually just cut out there. I am now just reconnected to Discord. If I missed a question, I am so
sorry.
Did.
Wow. That perfect timing, because I was asking how bad do they want to get this win here on top of it.
I mean, honestly, I don't think that they were hungry enough. I think the dub for the Insomnia Gaming House was enough, but this dub right here with 9 people left in the server, Labasco, oh, you go for it all, man. Go, knock it out of the park, please.
Thanks, dude. It means a lot, man. Thanks for the pick.
And that's that looks to be what their goal is here too. They're still pushing forward.
you have any heavy ammo?
towards, I think it's Tilted Towers is where they're about to be at now. That's sort of where this circle is starting to finish up. So very, very close to finally finishing it off.
Very close
Oh, thanks for
indeed,
following,
and just gonna have to
David.
rotate in here
Yeah,
to Tilted
absolutely.
again. One of the more harder parts about when you rotate into Tilted Towers in the late game too, there's probably more than likely one person on the inside of one building, surrounded by like 20 million, and probably a half a trap somewhere inside that building, and probably a few C4s as well. Don't really want to be looking inside buildings, but you know, especially when you're sitting pretty with all the green health plus some shields like Slothy and Alette are, you don't really need to be going in here and looking for anything besides the kills themselves. So you can see them just really just reverse Spider-Man, not swinging from webs, but just going from roof to roof and seeing what they can find, keeping the high ground. That's one of the more harder parts about a tilted endgame, is that you are continuously on the high ground, and they just found a launch pad as well. Someone is trying to currently shoot it out. They might be successful in doing so, but I don't think Slothy and Alette really care.
Yeah, I think they're just going to try and eliminate them here. They circle players have to push to them regardless, and there's a knock for Alette, and now he'll take the jump pad because it never did get. Oh, he almost gets taken out of the sky though, so he has to quickly build up here. Has a player that he's trying to get high ground advantage on, pulls out the heavy shotgun, and he's just going to actually finish his kill off first before he goes on to this Tomato Man, who is not sitting in a very good spot with two very good players sitting on top of him.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the adversary just trying to build as much brick as possible. You know, the one thing about brick is that it's actually the second weakest on the startup of the build, wood being the strongest, metal being the weakest. I'm sure that most of you at home are kind of scratching your head. No, brick is a lot stronger than wood. Yes, when it is fully built, but when you're just building brick like this and continuously putting ramps down, and you have a blue Tommy gun in the hands of Slothy, you are just going to get mowed over. There it is, the final kill in the face with the Tommy gun in the victory royale to Slothy and Alette in the victory royale for the Insomniac Gaming Tournament.
Gonna dance their way to victory here as well. It's been a great tournament today, though, so far, Panda. I mean, I think both of these guys deserving of the championship win here. And, of course, congrats to Fask and Chamathy for coming in second place. So close. Unfortunately, they get eliminated there towards the end and don't get the win. But when you look at it, another successful event hosted by Insomnia Gaming Network. And, of course, thanks to them for letting us be a part of this, because it has been a ton of fun.
It's been a ton of fun. It's been a blast. It's not every so often as well that you get these opportunities to end up doing these tournaments for Insomnia Gaming. Some of my personal friends in here as well. It's been so much fun. And again, a huge shout out to Nappykins for the beast production and talking in our ears to push us through and making sure that my math at least sounded somewhat accurate.
Somebody had to do it. Somebody had to make sure that the math was good. But that's what
if it wasn't you, it was her, definitely.
That's true. And that's what they're good at, though. They're good at being good with the community. They're a gaming and streamer support community where content creators, streamers, esports teams, people who enjoy gaming together in just any form can come, get supported, play, and just feel welcome in an all-inclusive and diverse, non-toxic environment. So come join Insomnia Gaming, of course. We pride ourselves on successful Scrib Nights, community events, and the ability to network with other communities and just get maximum exposure for members and esports teams. And that's what we're seeing here. And it's definitely deserved from Alouette and Slothy. And Panda, I didn't ask you yet, who would be your player of the game? To me, I think it's Slothy.
I think it would definitely be Slothy as well. I mean, like I was mentioning, as Alette did pop off in those early matches, in the first one that we did get to see these boys really sweat it out in that early game, but it was Slothy in the end, in the final games that we were witnessing. And even before we hopped inside this game, I watched the end of the previous one as well, and my goodness is this man, when he is on and he is warm and he is holding down that W key and that primary fire, woo, you better run, you better build or something, boy, because he ain't coming for your head.
Alouette, though, has to be given props as well, because Slothy can't do what he does if he doesn't get that res, right? Because that was a pivotal point in the game where
that's so good.
If he doesn't get that res off, it could potentially end up being Fask and Chamathy the ones who end up getting the win, because it was pretty much even, I think, at that point.
Yeah, I mean, especially he wasn't even in really any fear danger as well, and it's a big heads up play by Alouette to open himself up for the resurrection as well. What he did so clean, just so clean, getting one knock, forcing the enemy team to go ahead and forth to find their own resurrection to res his teammate as well. I mean, you don't get cleaner than that. Slothy needed to see the end of the game along with Alette. Not saying that Alette wasn't going to be able to clutch it out as he did in that first match that we casted, but man, does this duo strong when they play together.
There's no doubt about that. And that's about it for us here with Insomnia Gaming. Panda, it's been a fun one. Of course, thanks to Nappykins, who's been our producer throughout all of this, who did an incredible job getting us to this finals and just doing all the production work behind the scenes, making us sound good. So obviously appreciation for that and appreciate being here. But that'll do it here for us. But don't go anywhere because we're actually going to be hosting. We're actually going to raid one of the fellow streamers in the network because that's what we do. That's what Insomnia Gaming Network does. I think it's Midi Midori is the one who will be raided right now playing Overwatch.
Bring it on!